everyone, it's Vicki from Minerva, and in today's video I'm here to share with you our top 10 fabric suggestions for the Minerva Exclusive Tracey Jacket pattern. So we'll insert an image of the pattern now so you can take a look at the gorgeous details with me. So the Tracey Jacket is a very versatile, unlined shirt style jacket that effortlessly transitions through seasons, that you can wear as both an outerwear piece or as a layering piece as well, and that can very much be determined by the fabric choice. So if you opt for a more medium weight woven fabric for maybe like spring and summer for the more transitioning seasons, or you could choose a thicker fabric for the colder months. It's rich in details, this pattern. It has an abundance of top stitching. The jacket's an ideal project for a confident beginner verging into an intermediate pattern. So the key features on this pattern are a shirt style collar and cuffs. You've got a front placket opening for either snaps or buttons. You've got 2 upper and 2 lower patch pockets, but of course you can choose which of those you want to add to sort of personalise it to your style. And the back yoke adds like a tailored touch. The shirt tail hem is finished with a facing, which is a really lovely finishing detail, and it folds just beyond the crotch level, with the back extending slightly longer. And the boxy fit allows ample room throughout, making it easy to wear over other layers, as it, like we say, either a layering piece or as more of outerwear. So in the pattern itself, which I've got here, so the suggested fabric, so we say the Tracey Jacket is suitable for medium to heavyweight woven fabrics. Examples include cotton twill, denim, cord, wool, gabardine, flannel and canvas. So lots of options there. So I've got some of those fabrics in my selections today, but I've also got a couple of like wild card ones that are slightly lighter in weight, and I'm going to chat to you about those, about how you can use slightly lighter weight than the medium to heavy fabrics we've suggested in the pattern, just to give your Tracey Jacket a slightly different feel, which might be what you want to achieve. So let's have a little look at the fabrics. So first of all, I've got a very kind of classic pick, and when we were designing the Tracey Jacket, when we were developing the pattern, I loved the idea of sewing it in a denim fabric. I think denim is a wonderful choice for Tracey, and I think it's quite a casual choice. So a denim jacket, it's going to give it a very kind of casual feel. You can just chuck it on and wear it all the time. And I think that would just make a very wearable, versatile piece for your wardrobe. Now this denim I've chose, so this is a Minerva core range fabric, so it comes in quite a few different colours, especially for a denim. This is obviously the traditional kind of typical navy blue that you often find in denim, but we do have some other more exciting denim colours in this range as well. So the name of this fabric is our 280 GSM stretch washed denim. It's one of my favourite denims we actually stock here at Minerva. Now the blend on this one is 48% cotton, 48% poly and 4% elastane. So that 4% elastane gives it just a 10% stretch across the width. So there's no stretch down the length of the fabric, and it's just that little bit of give in the width. Now the Tracey Jacket doesn't call for a stretch fabric. You certainly wouldn't make it in a stretch knit fabric. That really, I really don't think that would be suitable for the Tracey. But a stretch woven that just has a little bit of stretch like this one, absolutely fine for the Tracey as well. And what that's going to do is you would treat it and sew it just the same as you would a woven fabric without stretch, but what it's going to do is when you're actually wearing the garment, it's just give it a little bit of comfort stretch, a little bit of wiggle room, shall we say. So with this fabric, like I said, it's a 280 GSM, that's grams per square metre, and that puts it into our medium to heavyweight category at Minerva. So exactly the kind of weight that we're talking about for a jacket. And I would say, when we're talking medium to heavyweight fabrics, you know, that fall into that category here at Minerva. It's definitely making it more of a slightly, you know, more of like an outerwear piece, or a slightly heavier layering piece. But yeah, I think that's a really, really gorgeous denim, and yeah, we've lots of different options on the Minerva website, lots of others that would be suitable as well, but that would be my number one pick, and I just love all the colour options that one comes in. So next up, another very classic, great type of fabric for the Tracey jacket is a canvas. So, you know, you can start to see a theme here. We're seeing fabrics that are heavier in weight with some sort of structure. You know, to create the Tracey jacket as it's, you know, designed and intended. You know, you want something with a little bit of body and a little bit of structure to really sort of create that classic kind of, you know, shirt style but jacket. Jacket feel with a little bit more weight. So this is one of our Minerva core ranges again. This is our washed canvas fabric. Now I'll just get the GSM on this one. So yeah, this one is actually the Bordeaux colourway, so a lovely deep rich kind of winey colour, but it comes in lots and lots of different colours as our core ranges do. It's 100% cotton and it's 260 GSM, which again puts it in our medium weight category here at Minerva. So you know, you can see with the weight and structure of that fabric, you know, it's still nice and soft, but it has body and weight and structure to it. So it's really going to hold the details like the collar and the button placket and those cuffs, you know, really, really well. And it'd be quite, you know, quite nice and easy to sew that one as well. Next up, so another kind of, you know, if you ask me what maybe my number one fabric, the first fabric I would think of when I think of the Tracey jacket, I would probably say to you cotton twill. I think cotton twill is a beautiful fabric to work with, and this Minerva core range is a really special fabric. It's a beautiful quality. This one is the peacock colourway, which I adore. I love this tealy, petrol-y, peacocky kind of colour. I think it's gorgeous. But like I say, you know, again, with it being a core range, we've so many different colours on the website for you to choose from. Now with this fabric, now you can see hopefully that it still has body structure, you know, crispness to it, but it's not as heavy, for example, as the canvas that I've just showed you. So in that respect, it will be a little bit easier to sew and handle on your machine. It has that beautiful twill weave that, you know, you get with a twill fabric. And this one, so it's called our Minerva core range, 100% cotton twill. So like I say, it's 100% cotton, and this one is 255 GSM, which that does put it into our medium to heavyweight category, but it's only just in that category. So that's why this one feels a little bit soft, well, a little bit lighter rather, a little bit nearer to the medium weight category. So it's just going to make a slightly lighter weight jacket, but it's still going to be in the jacket territory rather than a shirt layering kind of piece. Now the next one I've got to show you is actually another cotton twill, but I just wanted to share this Minerva exclusive print with you. So this again is 100% cotton. This is our gorgeous boudoir bouquet print, but comes in lots of different prints on the site. And this one is 240 GSM. So this one is a little bit lighter than the last one I just shared with you. But you know, it almost falls into the medium to heavyweight category. It's only just missing out by a few grams. So still, you know, absolutely fine for a more jacket type weight in the you know, in the Tracey jacket. And yeah, you know, cotton twills are often quite hard to find with prints. So we were really excited to be able to include this base cloth in the Minerva exclusive collection and have all our wonderful, you know, designer prints available on this wonderful base cloth. Yeah, I think a boudoir bouquet print Tracey jacket would be amazing. But yeah, like I said, with loads of prints on the site to choose from. Now the next two fabrics I've got are both cord fabrics, but they're both very different. So the first one, another Minerva core range fabric. This is our 16 wale stretch woven needle cord in the dark red colour, but loads and loads of colour options on site. It's 85% cotton, 10% poly, 5% elastane, and it's 300 grams per square metre, so that puts into our medium to heavyweight category. And that 5% elastane, just like the first fabric, it gives this fabric just a 10%, roughly a 10% stretch across the width. None down the length, just a little bit across the width, just to give a little bit of, you know, comfort stretch whilst you're wearing the garment. So yeah, I think that's a really gorgeous colour, bang on trend at the moment, that red as well. But yeah, with lots of colours on the site. Now, what makes this one very different to the next cord I'm about to show you, excuse me, is the wale count. So this one, like I said, was called 16 wale, and what that means is there are 16 of the cord ridges per inch. So that's quite a fine cord, and it's called needle cord as well, which, you know, describes a finer cord. So yeah, I think that'd be lovely to work with. What I really liked with this fabric for the Tracey is that even though it's needle cord, it's still a medium to heavyweight fabric. You know, it's still got quite a good weight to it. Very often you'll find with needle cords that they're actually quite fine, which you could use for the Tracey, but if you want it to feel more like a proper jacket, you know, you want something with a bit more weight, and it's just a little bit harder to find is that sort of needle cord. So, and the fact that, you know, we have it in our range here at Minerva, so I wanted to include it in the video. Now the next cord I've got, I really love this. We've had some amazing versions of the Tracey jacket made by our pattern testers and brand ambassadors in this sort of fabric, and it just looks amazing. So this is our Minerva Core range 7 wale stretch woven jumbo cord. So with this one, you've only got 7 of the cord ridges per inch. So the actual ridges themselves are a lot bigger and chunkier, hence it's called a jumbo cord. And you know, it's well, I think it's a very popular type of cord at the moment, is this, with this, you know, the jumbo kind of cord, but it just gives it like a chunky, I don't know, kind of just, yeah, something special with it being quite chunky, and for a jacket I think that works really well. Now this particular colourway is called Fern Green. It's almost like an olivey, soft, khaki kind of green almost, but it comes in lots of different colours, you know, with it being a Minerva Core range. And the blend on this one is 97% cotton and 3% elastane. So that just, again, just gives it just a little bit of stretch, about 10% stretch across the width. And this one is 325 GSM, so a little bit heavier than the last one, as you'd probably expect with a jumbo cord. And again, it fits into our medium to heavyweight category here at Minerva. But yeah, just if you want a chunky, cosy kind of cord sort of feel, this will be a fantastic range to sew your Tracey jacket in. And then the next 4 I've got, I would say, are slightly more unusual fabrics for the Tracey. But yeah, I really wanted to include these slightly more unusual options because, you know, I think it can really kind of expand your, you know, your fabric options available to you, and, you know, make slightly different versions of the Tracey jacket that maybe you would wear, you know, at different times of year. So this first one is actually a wool, so it's a Melton wool blend coating fabric. Another Minerva Core range that comes in a few colours of this one. So it's 70% polyester, 30% wool. And this one is actually 380 GSM, which actually puts it into our heavyweight category here at Minerva. Now, let me hold this one out for you. Now, I wouldn't say that maybe every wool coating fabric would be suitable for the Tracey jacket rather. You want a wool fabric or a wool coating that isn't too thick, isn't too chunky. I think for some of those details, if you chose a very thick coating fabric, might be a little bit more difficult to sew. So you want something that's either in the medium to heavyweight category, or something that, you know, even if it's in the heavyweight category like this one, that isn't too thick. Now, with this being a Melton wool coating, that's exactly what that does. The Melton, the way it's sort of woven and made, it kind of compresses the fibres of the fabric, so it doesn't create a very bulky coating or a very thick coating fabric. So this is just perfect for the Tracey jacket. I love the kind of speckled, how how would you describe it? Like a marl texture almost in the way that this has been woven. It just, you know, it gives it an extra special something over a completely solid fabric. And this charcoal grey colour has that. I think it's gorgeous. But like I say, it does come in, you know, lots of different colours on the site. Yeah, and I just think for a wintry version of the Tracey jacket, you know, almost venturing into it being a coat, this would be a fabulous option. So yeah, we're just, you know, we're expanding, we're pushing the boundaries a little bit on the, you know, the suggested fabrics in the pattern, but I think it will make an absolutely gorgeous version of the jacket, this one. Then next up, so we have a Minerva Exclusive fabric. So this is our brushed cotton flannel range. So this is made from 100% cotton. And it has that brushed, very soft, very kind of cosy texture that you get with flannel. And on the Minerva Exclusive fabrics, that soft, brushed, fuzzy kind of flannel texture is on both sides of the fabric, which I think is lovely. Especially with this being an unlined pattern, you know, you'll have that gorgeous softness against your skin with this fabric, which I think is really nice. Now this fabric, so this one, the design on this one is called Surreal Spots, which I love this print, and I personally think that will make an amazing Tracey jacket. But we have loads of different prints available on the site, so you have lots of different options to choose from. Now this fabric, so it's 100% cotton, so I think that, you know, that will make it nice and breathable as well. Lovely that it's a natural fibre. Now this one is actually only 160 GSM, which puts it into our medium weight category, and actually at the lower end of the medium weight category. So this is where we start coming into fabrics that will be less of a jacket, but more of a layering piece. And we do have, you know, some of our amazing pattern testers and brand ambassadors on the website have shared versions made in the flannel, and honestly they just look gorgeous. Please do check them out on the website because it's really going to leave you inspired. Yeah, so this in this sort of fabric, like I said, with it being lighter in weight, it still has a good kind of thickness to it because of that fuzzy texture. But with it being lighter in weight and just the nature of a flannel fabric, I think it brings the Tracey jacket into more of a shirt layering piece. So it just changes the feel and the style of the pattern slightly by, you know, make it in a slightly different fabric. But that's a wonderful, wonderful choice for the pattern, that one. Then next up we have definitely, again, another more summery version. So this is another Minerva Core range, and this is our Blades cotton and linen blend fabric. Now we have lots of linen fabrics available on our site. Linen's one of our most favourite fabrics here at Minerva, and we've loads of different options. Now I think the Tracey jacket would absolutely suit 100% linen fabric. It's perfect for it. My mum actually made a version in our washed core range linen, 100% linen, when we were pattern testing, you know, we were making the pattern, and it was in like a khaki green colourway with like bronze snaps, fastenings, a little bit of top stitching detail. It's gorgeous. And yeah, that's just a typical example of 100% linen that works fantastically. We also have our Minerva Exclusive range of prints available on 100% linen. They would be fabulous. But I wanted to include this one as an example of a linen blend that would also work for Tracey. So I wouldn't probably... You could make it out of a linen and viscose blend, but it is definitely going to make it a softer kind of shirt style. That's going further away from it being a jacket and having structure, which is really what the pattern's designed for. But a linen and cotton blend, it's somewhere between the two. So it's not as structured as 100% linen, but it's not as soft and drapey as a viscose linen. So cotton linen I think is a good sort of in-betweener, another good option as well as 100% linen fibres. And you can see from the way I'm holding it up here, you know, it's definitely softer than some of the fabrics I've shown you. But with that, you know, quite high linen content in this fabric, it still does have the body that you know you need, that you want really for Tracey. So yeah, this one's like the sort of the Aurora Coral colourway, but we have loads and loads of different, you know, colour options in this fabric as well. And yeah, it's definitely, so we're taking again the pattern into a more shirt style layering piece category with this fabric. Maybe something that you want to wear as like a layering piece throughout the summer, almost as like a, you know, it's just almost like a very lightweight jacket. That would be lovely in this sort of fabric. But if it was something you were going to wear in winter, you know, this wouldn't feel like a coat or a jacket as such. So, you know, it might be more of just like a shirt style layering piece that you wore at that time of year. And then the last fabric I've got, so this is definitely more of a wild card, and I just wanted to include it because, you know, I like in these videos to give you the more kind of obvious fabric choices, but also to just give you some other slightly different type fabrics to what we suggest in the pattern, just to kind of push the boundaries a little bit and to give you some ideas of how, you know, a different fabric could work but would just change the characteristics slightly of the pattern. So this one is another of our Minerva exclusive prints. So this is called Forest Flashback is the name of the print. But like I say, you know, all our Minerva exclusive base cloths, you know, you can get a wide range of prints on them all. Now, this particular base cloth is our Tensil twill. So it's made from 100% lyocell fibre, Tensil branded. And it is 160 GSM, which puts it into our medium weight category. So, you know, when I hold that fabric up, you can see this has so much more softness and drape than any of the other fabrics that I've mentioned today. It's still the same weight as the cotton linen, but because it's a finer weave and, you know, the lyocell Tensil fibre gives it the softness, you know, it has a very different handle even though it's the same weight. So you might think, well, why have I included this? You know, throughout the whole video, I've said you want something with weight and structure to create, you know, the Tracey jacket. Well, this fabric still has a twill weave, so it still has great body. The main difference is it's not as thick and it's not, you know, it's not as heavy and it's got the drape. So I think what this fabric would bring to the pattern is it really would create a much softer, more flowy, like overshirt kind of style. So it's definitely not going to feel like a jacket as the pattern intends in this fabric, but if you just want an oversized, quite boxy, loose kind of fit, soft drapey shirt, I think this would be a really good option. You know, it's still got much more weight and body than say like a viscose a viscose challis fabric, which would be, you know, I think that's going too light for this pattern. So it's, you know, it's kind of somewhere in the middle between a very soft drapey lightweight fabric and the, you know, the heavier structured ones I've been talking about today. And I just think you could experiment with this fabric, you know, and create a different kind of style and, you know, really sort of get the most out of the pattern. You know, you could make a cord version, a denim version, a woolen version for winter, and then maybe something like this as more of a layering piece and really kind of get the most out of your pattern. So that's all the fabrics I had to share with you today. So I hope you found that really inspiring. I hope it's give you, you know, confidence on what fabrics you can choose for the Tracey jacket, and hopefully just, you know, expanded your horizons a little bit in terms of, you know, what fabrics are suitable for this pattern. As always, below the video on the Minerva website, we'll tag all the fabrics and the pattern as well that I've mentioned. So you'll be able to click on any of those. So you'll be able to see all the colours that these fabrics come in, you know, the pricing details and, you know, all the information you would want about the fabric. And we always usually have close-up videos of lots of them, well, most of them as well. So yeah, you'll be able to find that linked below. And just to mention as well, we do offer super fast, free, worldwide delivery here at Minerva as well. So wherever you're watching us from around the world, we can send parcels of fabric joy out to you. We do offer a full sample service on all our samples here at Minerva. So, you know, if you just want to see and feel the fabric, just to be sure, you know, before you commit to buy, then you can absolutely order a sample from us. That's no problem at all. And all of our fabrics as well, we do sell in increments. So you don't need to buy, you know, a full metre or a full yard. You know, you can buy just the amount you need, and then there's no wastage there. We do also offer a thread matching service for our fabrics as well, so you know, you can easily just add a matching thread on the website and we'll match the perfect thread to the fabric for you. And if you are a member of the Minerva Craft Club as well, then you will be able to save 10% on all the fabrics I've mentioned today, the pattern and everything on our website. It's a fantastic way to save extra money every single time you you check out at Minerva. If you're not a member of the Craft Club, then we'll put links to that below so you can check that out on the website if you're interested. So thank you so much for watching today. I really hope you found that enjoyable, inspiring, informative, and you know, it's got your creative juices flowing for sewing your own Tracey jacket. Do check out all the wonderful versions that have already been shared on Minerva by our wonderful sewing community, and we absolutely love seeing all the versions that you make, especially in our patterns. You know, we come up with a design idea, we produce the pattern, they're an absolute labour of love, and then to be able to see your guys' versions in all different fabrics and your unique takes on them, it's such a joy for us to be able to see them. So yeah, please do share your versions with us on Minerva. We'd absolutely love to see those and join our wonderful sewing community. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back again soon.